So our next story here is Walt Disney World is seeing price increases for almost everything, as they typically do this every October. So even though they've been getting lots of bad press lately for price increases, they're just powering on through.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty much everything.
Yes.
I did put out some examples if we want to read some of them.
Yeah, I was going to say we have character buffet prices increased.
Cinderella's Royal Table, for example, lunch and dinner for an adult is now $88.
What was it before?
79?
Okay.
70 something. Yeah.
Yeah, we got snacks and drinks. So bottled soda is now $5.29, going up from $4.99. Mickey's cinnamon roll is now $7.49, up from $6.49. And then
annual passes.
I was going to say the big one are the ticket prices, the annual passes.
Yep. So annual pass prices increase between $30 and $100, depending which pass you got. So Pixie and Pirate both went up $30. Sorcerer increased by $80, and Incredipass went up $100. So Incredipass is pricey. Of course, there is discounts if you're renewing your annual pass, if you already have one. So there is like a 15% discount for that still. But you know, yeah, Sorcerer is almost 1,000 now. Is it 1,000?
It's somewhere around.
It's close to 1,000. I just cannot. It's. You know what? I understand prices go up. I do. But I don't know. It's the timing, I guess. It's the timing for me. It's the timing.
The timing is not great for a couple of reasons. One being that, I mean, first off, I'm not surprised. They do this basically every year. So I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm surprised by this. Like, this is something that they just have done for the last little bit here. But given the amount of negative feedback they've gotten about this, especially now you have a lot of mainstream outlets talking openly about it. Is Disney pricing out the middle class? Are they pricing out families? They just introduced the Lightning Lane Premier Pass, which is, a lot of people look at that and say that's outrageous pricing, it's going to be a test phase. We don't even know how that's going to go yet, but it's just one of those things where at some point, you just sit there and go, what's the point in which a lot of people just say, I'm done. And I think a lot of people have talked about over the years of different points that has happened. But especially when you look at, from their financial records, they even said they're expecting, lower demand going into 2025. And of course, you got Epic Universe and Universal Studios opening up a brand new theme park. So that's going to be increased competition. So it seems rather tone deaf, especially when people talk about openly like inflation and the economy and Disney. The attendance hasn't, this last quarter wasn't the best that they had. It just seems very Disney kind of does this where they don't really have their finger on the pulse of like what people think necessarily. They did raise a bunch of prices at Disneyland also. So that's something. And then one of the passes as well for the day tickets at Disney is now the top in price at Magic Kingdom is $199. So I have been talking all along. Eventually, they're going to break through that $200 ceiling. They've already done it at Disneyland.
They did it at Disneyland, but that ticket increase is for November and December top prices in 2025. So tickets through October 2024, those are already set. Those won't increase. The increase in regular like day tickets or anything like that is for starting next November 2025. Right. Just FYI.
Yeah.
So if you have bought tickets or are buying tickets up until that point, up until October, then you should get the older prices. So just FYI.
True.
But it's just crazy. Like Thanksgiving Day, 2025, a park hopper ticket is going to cost $264. That's one day park hopper. It's $253 right now for like this Thanksgiving Day. So it did go up $11, but like most of the pricing increased between $10 and $15, like across the board.
It's one of these things when it happens, you kind of like, price increases happen and most people either you accept it or you don't. It's just, every person's different. But when you look at it, when it wasn't that long ago, so how much were ticket prices and annual pass prices in, say, 2019?
So 2019, before everything changed, it It was different categories, by the way. So it was called Platinum Plus, was like the one that included literally everything, all the water parks, etc. And that was $1,219. Now, that's different now because Incredipass does not include any of the extras.
Right.
That's an add-on, so $1,529 now plus those. The Platinum Pass, just the Platinum, was $1,119. That was just 4 park hopping. I don't know, no blockouts. And then the Gold Pass, which is like the equivalent of the Sorcerer Pass, was $699. Sorcerer is $1,079 for the new new prices.
I mean, if you look again, not that long ago in 2019, Florida residents could get a day ticket before they really started changing to, in terms of like the crowd levels, $109 for a ticket. If you were a non-Florida resident, you could get a ticket for $125. This is a day ticket. So if you just start looking at this, like it doesn't, you look back a little bit and you're like, oh my gosh. And if they would have raised those prices overnight that much, you'd have been like not paying it, but it's just a slow increase over time. I've said this before, they're in uncharted waters in terms of competition in these next 5 to 10 years. I mean, I don't really know what to say. I'm not surprised by it. I'm not going to act like I'm surprised, but it's just one of those things when you continually keep seeing it happen, you have to ask yourself, where is the ceiling? Like, when is it too much for a majority or a lot of people? Obviously, we're probably going to find out because I'm guessing next year it's going to go over $200 to Magic Kingdom. I think that's almost a given.
Wow. Well, when we went the first year, when we went 2013 together as husband and wife, it was $95 for a day at Magic Kingdom.
So because
it wasn't tiered back then, it was just one price.
Right. So basically, you look at over a 10-year period. I mean, ticket prices have almost gone up $100 per ticket.
More, yeah.
I mean, if you just generalize it there.
Well, I saw a stat for Disneyland that said it took them 51 years. I think it was 51 years to get to 100. Was it 51 or 41? I can't remember what it was. It was either that. I think it was 51 years from the time they opened to get to $100 a ticket, or over $100 mark. And from the $100 mark to $200 mark, it took 8.
Yeah.
Like, it just shows you like the exponential
it's like compound
curve.
Interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
And increase in prices. And this is just something you have to accept if you want to go to Disney. We can always complain. I don't know if they'll ever lower the cost because there's too many people complaining. They do discounts, occasionally. So, it's just one of those things we have to deal with.
Well, yeah, I mean, part of what we do, of course, is commentary on it. And I know people are going to point out and they're going to say, they're building new things and the value. And I understand they're building new things. And when you build new things, I'm not surprised by the price increases. But when you look at this period of time before when they had all these price increases, I mean, we've seen a cutback on maintenance. There's a lot of people that talked about a lot of the things that Disney used to do. Again, you look at what used to be included and what's not now. So those ticket prices at $100, $125 per day also included Magical Express. Also included Fast Pass Plus. So you had a lot of things that were included with that price. So the ticket price is not even really the ticket price a lot of times, because most people, or if you want to have the quote best theme park experience, you got to get Lightning Lane Multi-Pass, or you got to get the single passes. So if you look at it through that lens as well, not only are the ticket prices continually going up at this rate, as are now the paid products of cutting the line as well. So this exponential growth in how much it costs, you just hit the point where you go, at what point do a lot of people vote with their dollar? And I'm not saying that people aren't going to go. I'm just genuinely curious as to if and when people hit this point, what does Disney do? That's a question I've had for a while here. And, I'm not saying that the people aren't going to go. It's just something when you continually see it go on, they're not going to get good press about it in a period of time where they're not already getting good press about their prices to begin with. So it just further feeds into the narrative, like I talked about, like Lightning Lane Premier Pass being introduced. So I don't know. I don't have any of the answers. You look at the trends and you just kind of raises your eyebrows there. So yeah, I mean, obviously, like you said, if you want to go, these are the prices to go. But they are in more competition, not only with other theme parks, but cruise lines and other vacation destinations, and as it gets more expensive, they also enter into a lot of other areas that people could travel for the price to go to Disney.
Yep.
So either way, if you got annual pass or ticket prices, they're going up. So
yeah,
there you go there.